Thank you so much, Satya, for taking out time and doing this conversation with us. Welcome to Venture Center's podcast.
Thank you, Soma. Venture Center is an extended family for me, so lovely to be
Wonderful.
here.
So now that you say that it's a family, so can you just tell us when this family started getting associated with you, or you got started with this family, and any moment of happiness, joy, excitement, or a story that you wish to share with us during this association for all these years?
So Venture Center was a toddler when I met Venture Center. It was 3 years old, or maybe 2. And I was at that time at ABLE, which is the industry body for biotechnology. And that's when my interaction with Premnath started. Of course, the Venture Center we see today, the Venture Center we saw into 2009, 2010, two different beings. But you could see that hard-nosed focus and dedication that Premnath and Manisha had now to build the team and to make it one of the best platforms for innovation. It still continues. And coming back to how my association started, the engagement deepened during my time in BIRAC. And once when I stepped out of BIRAC, then the board and Premnath invited me to be part of the board. So I've been in the board now for the last 8 years. Many fun moments. Every time I come, I think there's just a plethora of fun moments with Venture Center. I really can't enumerate all of them. But the best is to meet the team and the startups, and finally having some fabulous buzz and food in the cafeteria.
Wonderful.
So that's the one.
Great. Thank you so much. Given your association with Venture Center, which is that one thing you think people should have known more? You wish that they knew more about Venture Center?
Oh, not just one thing, many things. I think, that's what I feel is possibly one of the finest innovation platforms that we have. I would dare say in the whole of Asia, not just India. So people should definitely know about it. I wish we could make a virtual tour of Venture Center and use that, somehow put that on some, VR sets so people could walk in and see what life is like here and what exciting life is here for any kind of startups in deep science doing anything. I think they should be knocking the doors of Venture Center in Pune.
Great. Let's just also think through not only Venture Center, but the overall ecosystem. So we are now completing 10 years since the Startup India mission started in the country. And it was like the startup became a very, very buzzword and common words in household. So how do you think the startup ecosystem, especially the deep tech startup ecosystem, evolved since then? And where do you see incubators playing a stronger role in the future to come?
That's a brilliant question. I think for me, deep science, deep tech, when it started in India, and don't get me wrong here, most people thought it was something e-commerce or app-based or a SaaS-based company. But now when we say deep tech, it also means deep science, and I see a number of such startups today, which were very few and far between back in when it got started. My second take is, I used to joke that if you're building a startup early on in 2000, say 10, 11, and you said your unique, your novelty or uniqueness was to sell a red tie on the net or orange socks on the net, then you would probably get $4 million. But if you said, I'm trying to solve cancer diagnostics or therapy, nobody would give you any money or any funding for that. Things are changing in that. There's a lot of buzz about the startups in today's current environment in India, which is a good thing. But I also think that with Professor Vijay Chandru, I wrote a thought leadership article a couple of years back, just 2-3 years back, where we said that now we have what we said is a graveyard of prototypes analogy. So a lot of startups building products, but they are at a stage of, say, TRL 3 or 4 and are unable to move it towards the market. We took a very positive sense that at least these startups have had a journey of understanding how difficult it is to build a product. But this is where we are. We are maturing, but we are not completely mature deep science ecosystem yet.
And if you think that the incubators can play a bigger role, do you think you'd like to comment on what those roles would be?
So, as we all say, deep science incubators do play a critical role. Of course, there are startups that may not need an incubator and have grown too. But I think essentially, if you're looking at biomed, biotech, and other kind of deep science, other than maybe just AI, you would need an incubator, right? So first thing is the fact that you would have an access to very specialized infrastructure.
Right.
That at early stage, as you know, Soma, you do it so well here for incubation. At an early stage, you need some absolutely, capex access, and many startups don't have that money. So that is first. Second is a lot of startups, continuously have to, get a clear vision of what the next few months, 1 year is. So in terms of mentoring, networks, this is what the incubators provide. And third is, I think, mobilizing patient capital. And once you showcase some of the early stage startups, that kind of draws initially the angel funds, later the VC community comes to you. So the startup does get a lot of these network benefits, not just the infrastructure. And I think Venture Center does all of these very well.
Sure, thank you. In your opinion, do you think there is some kind of a common misconception or a myth about deep tech startups or the ecosystem, which you think you wish to bust for all, for all and once?
Myth about deep tech startups in India.
Yeah.
I think the myth is that there aren't startups that are doing amazing science-based product. I think that's the myth. To the Western VC community, I think you name anything deep science that is possibly happening in India. Mm-hmm. As my good friend Sanjay Kanvinde said, that's the point about India is a difficult market. But once you crack it, it is a good market to be in. So that's the myth, I think, I would like to say. Other than that, I can't think of another myth. But the myth is that Indian startups are doing some amazing, not doing some amazing work is the myth. So they are actually doing some amazing work here.
Wonderful. So from your experience, your time in BIDAC, and then after that you have probably mentored or guided or seen
and worked
1,000
with
startups? Yeah.
Yes, at least 1,000 startups.
I'm sure.
Worked with at least 10 of them.
Absolutely.
What's the question?
Yeah, the question is that, from taking their promising idea to all the way to the market, obviously there's a lot of struggle that goes in. As an incubator, we try helping them out in different ways. But where have you seen, and it is for our early stage startups to hear from you, that what are the common pitfalls, what are the common mistakes they can at least easily avoid probably?
So, Soma, startups are dreamers. But reality of market is the reality, right? So I wish startups knew and planned with pragmatism. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two, most science-based startups, they think that technology, if they solve the technology bit, then that's it. And then they get a rude shock from the market. And they devalue sales, but I think that's the most important thing to do. So really think about customers, sales, supply channels, all of that they think very late. And the other thing they think very late is manufacturing at scale. So they might do a few prototypes, 5, 10, and the materials they are using might be working. But they don't think in terms of if an order of 50,000 comes or 1 million pieces of that product, how will that product behave at that point of production? Do they have everything planned out for that? And those are the couple of mistakes they do. And finally, I think which is related to the market, is all markets in science-based are regulated. Science-based startups
Yeah.
are regulated. So they don't take a regulatory advisory early on. And this is, again, that wall, when it hits them, sometimes crushes them. So
Great.
those are 3 or 4. Yeah.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that. You have been into policy making on your BIRAC days, and even after that, you have been shaping the whole ecosystem of the startups in different ways, right? Do you still want to see some changes at a policy level which can you think can pace up the translation of research into the market? Are there still opportunities that policy level changes can bring in?
Yeah, absolutely. The simplest is, see, funding is oxygen. And the simplest policy change is fund deep, fund long, and fund on time.
Right.
Those are the 3 things. If we can take care of it, especially fund on time, that will be very helpful for
Sure.
India as a product nation, right? So that's the heart of it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for such insightful responses and such kind of sharing your thoughts.
Oh, I've learned a lot by being in Venture Center, and number 2, I've learned a lot by being in the board of Venture Center. The board is just
Absolutely.
amazing,
Absolutely.
and every board meeting I absorb like crazy.
But we are not letting you go. We have some rapid fire questions,
Okay.
and I will just finish the question and I need a response to that.
Okay.
So the-
Immediate response, or you'll give me 5 seconds pause. I mean, this is even difficult than a pitch, startup pitching to my good friend Sanjay Kanvinde of Lavani Ventures.
If you have to put a billboard outside of Venture Center,
Yes.
what would it say?
We are the best.
Okay. And which city do you think the best startup vibe is existing currently? Maybe in India. Yes.
In India? You told me not to say.
In
I-
India.
See, I think there is vibe, there is fluff, and there is real startup deep science, right? I have seen that, I won't say best, but I'll say 3 or 4 places in India. One is, of course, Bangalore. Pune has its parts. If you go to Bangalore, HSR layout is buzzing. Hyderabad too, right? So these are the 3 places. And if you're looking at fintech, of course, Bombay and Mumbai, or if you even go to Gurgaon, there are some places that are good vibes. You have good cafes, you'll have good vibes.
Can you point out one underrated quality in a successful entrepreneur?
Persistence, number 1. Tough skin, thick skin to a no, and maintaining relationships.
Great. You have been also a student before you become a mentor. So would you like to share with us some names of few people who has actually influenced you as your mentor?
Yeah, I think I won't say what age I am, but I've just crossed the other side of 50. So a mentorship is required at any time, even at my age, I think. But we also tend to forget our early teachers. I think similarly in startups, I think they forget the early mentors. But my 4 or 5 mentors that I bow almost every other day when I think about them are late Professor M.K. Bhan. What an amazing, imaginative person, wear a magic wand. Professor Vijay Chandru. And then I met some incredible people in Cambridge, UK. David Gill ran the St. John's Innovation Center. He has been an amazing mentor to me. And from my school, it's William Bhagat, sir, late William Bhagat, sir. He also passed away a couple of years back, and he was the teacher par excellence. So these are the 4 or 5 names I can think of.
Sure. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you for
Thank
your
you,
time.
Soma. Thank you.